Hello everyone, welcome to Illuminating Astrology. My name is Elena Lumen, and as we approach the new year, I want to share with you the charts and the ideas about what 2026 will be like. Of course, I want to start with the yesterday Winter Solstice. Here in the Northern Hemisphere, we celebrate Winter Solstice, which is the time when the Sun enters 0 degrees of Capricorn. And this chart is used in mundane astrology, astrology of the politics of the world, to make predictions for the next few months. But first things first. Let's take a look at the winter solstice chart for the Northern Hemisphere. As usual, when we look at the winter solstice, it is better to cast it for the capital of the country one is interested in. I am doing it for the United States and for the North America, but I also will mention more global themes because the whole humanity will feel those themes. First of all, the Capricorn Ingress means the Sun entered the 0 degrees of Capricorn. And that marks the beginning of winter in the Northern Hemisphere. And right now in the sky and in this chart, we have a lot of Capricorn energy. The Sun, Mars, and the Moon were in Capricorn yesterday. So that emphasizes the earthy themes for the whole world. Frugality, survival, practicality, or at the very least, setting up certain goals oriented towards financial and other security. And with Capricorn, we want to set up the new goals. Usually people do have resolutions for the new year. It's very appropriate with yesterday's energy. And I would encourage that everyone should evaluate their resources, but also not just financial, but mental, emotional as well. That it is time to evaluate what really works and doesn't work, energy-wise, time-wise, emotion-wise. And another theme of Capricorn is setting the new goals for 2026 and having strategies of accomplishing those goals. Continues to be element of fire. I talked in my previous videos, and the fire element is reminding us to still have fun, to engage with friends, to have social connections, to communicate, to read, to expand our horizons. So these are the more general themes. But specifically for the North America, and I'm looking at the chart for the North America, the themes will be like this. So the frugality, the practical themes, they are related very much to the country's finances, to the country's resources. A lot of people we have here, first house, we find Aquarius here, and people are shown by Saturn, Neptune. A lot of people will be evaluating their financial resources, and they may feel that they need to tighten the belts, they need to be more frugal. And for the country, there may be a lowering of the value in the stock market, in the real estate market, because Saturn and Neptune continues to affect our finances. We see that the most important thing here, the Sun in the equinox chart falls into the 11th house. That's a fortunate position which emphasizes the society, parliaments or Congress, laws and lawmaking. And we have a mixed thing here. On the one hand, we have Mars with the Sun, which speaks of the warlike attitude, military action. And we know that United States was considering military action against Venezuela. The Sun-Mars connection shows military action. It can be successful, but it also can be difficult for the leading class, and people in the army, because the Sun afflicts Mars. Somewhat of a saving grace is Venus close to the Sun, because Venus, on the contrary, inclines to diplomacy, inclines to social expansion. The United States, and to some degree for Canada, it will be both. Like there will be some fights and disagreements within the country, within the legislature system, within the Congress, but at the same time there will be acts of diplomacy and expanding of trades and so on. But those discussions, those trades, and those military actions, they're very much related to the resources, financial substance. With increasing national debt, the country really truly needs to scrutinize its resources and find new ways of beneficial deals and financial scrutiny. One thing which I liked less in this chart is that the Moon, representing the common people, falls into the 12th house, which suggests that maybe there's an influx of getting sick. It is the season many people may get a flu or even COVID because it's circulating around. But also the Moon in Capricorn suggests mental health difficulties. Many people may feel depression or isolation. There may be some challenges related to health and mental health. On a more broader level, it may relate to challenges related to the prisons and mental health institutions and the hospitals, because they may have shortage of resources as well, as the Moon in Capricorn suggests. Two other interesting things in this chart is that Uranus is on the cusp of the 4th house, and it is approaching the negative star Algol. So we can anticipate some disruptions It could be nature disruptions, for example, floods like we experience here on the West Coast, or disruptions in the real estate market. Another interesting factor that Mercury is very, very much prominent in this chart, and according to some traditional books, Mercury in the 10th house suggests public meetings, speech makings, ceremonies connected with people in power, with royalty and government. It also has to do with education, with travel and commerce. Because Mercury has difficulty being in Sagittarius, we might be excited and there might be news and information that stirs up the society, that people discuss, that people really... It could be also discussions regarding the laws, commerce and education, all matters signified by Mercury. And in this chart, Mercury rules the 4th and the 5th house, so the laws or the commerce related to real estate and stock market will be in the news in our minds. Because Mercury is debilitated, I think it suggests instability, lowering or fluctuation of the real estate and stock market. I talked about this in my other videos. But because Mercury is disposited by Jupiter in Cancer, at the end, generally, they will be okay. And because the Ingress has fixed rising sign, those influences will last for at least few months, 2-3 months. With Saturn, Neptune entering the Aries, it is a start of something new, collectively, for the whole world. At the same time, Uranus will enter Gemini in May of 2026, which again shifts attention. Uranus is a planet which brings change, transformation, unexpected new things, and it's gonna influence the Gemini, which is education, communication, internet, computer technologies. So we can expect shifts in information technology, greater progress, greater inventions in that realm. And individually, collectively, I think it's about expanding our knowledge, expanding our horizons, but not in a way that Jupiter brings it to us, more in an unexpected way, that the new frontiers of discoveries will be made. On the positive, Jupiter continues its transit through Cancer, and it will be direct from March of 2026, which is a very fortunate influence, fortunate for financial stability, fortunate for fertility. And Jupiter is going to stay in Cancer for a few months. It's going to transition to Leo in July of 2026. So the auspicious time for growth, for promotions, for financial security. So if you're considering investments, if you're considering fertility treatments, that's a favorable time. So overall, 2026 feels like a year filled with new beginnings, new hopes, but unfortunately the military actions and militarization continues to be strong. As much as many of us hope for peace or a peaceful resolution, I don't think it's what 2026 foretells. But on a more personal level, it is the year of new beginning, trying new things, preserving one's resources, including health and mental health, seeking solitude, connection with the divine, connection with the friends, to resource ourselves amidst those interesting and exciting changes. So these are my thoughts about the upcoming year and the Ingress. Please let me in the comments what you think, how you experience those energies. If there are any topics that you would like me to focus on, please also let me know. Thank you very much for your support. If you're new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button and support my work, and stay tuned for more. Very happy holidays. Let the light be always with us, and let the planetary energy guide us to greater evolution, to greater peace and happiness. Thank you, and bye-bye.